Hello. Welcome to the sickest Sonic movie review you'll ever see because I'm actually sick, which really freaking sucks. And what's funny is I didn't even get sick because of the movie. But I'll get into all that later. I'm not doing any cutesy voice or any fancy editing. Enjoy B-roll footage and me just rambling. I have some talking points up here, but I want to talk about my thoughts about this thing and fight through the pain because we do that for Movie Sonic around here, and I might as well capitalize on my suffering and get some watch time hours. And please just tap that like button. I'm not even asking you to subscribe at this point. Just press the like button, please. It would do a lot for me. It would share the video around. I'm really tired. Just do it, please. It takes a second. I'm going to go into my general thoughts about the movie, but this will mostly be a spoiler discussion, so when I say some crazy crap, that's on you. I will warn you before I do it, but I'll say my basic thoughts right now. Basic thoughts is, go see the movie. As a big Sonic fan, as you could clearly see on the channel, and as someone who champions these movies and defend them with all my life, I want everyone to know this is the best out of the three. Why are you even listening to my opinion at this point? If you like Sonic, you've already made your decision. You're going to go see this movie, and you should, but take people who aren't fans of Sonic, take the naysayers, take the lovers, take anyone in between. Basic thoughts, go see the movie. That's a no-brainer at this point. You're going to get a very special treat. They really stepped it up. I 100% want everyone to back this movie up and support it. God, I sound getting ridiculous. Okay, so is that all clear? I love the movie. Please go support it. It's the best one. I don't want you to get spoiled by anything. Please come back to this once you do see it. Hurry up, go out and see it. Get out if you haven't seen it, alright? Okay, I'm about to say some crazy crap. So 3, 2, you better be gone. 1, go. They indeed did not cap that kid. I was wrong. Nick was right. Oh no. Which, I'm just being silly. I never expect them to actually do that, but they did it in a tasteful way. I just want to say something spoilerly out now. I wasn't playing around. But yeah, holy crap. That's the first thing I just have to say. I can't believe the things they were able to do. The things that I was surprised Sega allowed them to do in this movie. They truly, treated this stuff with immense care. I never expected them not to, but the lengths they went to really represent the source material, to represent these characters, and to change them in ways and make them do things and explore them in ways that I never thought was possible until right now, until it was readily obvious. It was just insane. I sound ridiculous. I guess we'll start with the boy you want to hear about first. Shadow has done incredibly well. I remember seeing so many naysayers thinking that they're going to make him very silly or not very true to the character in the games, and I always knew, they proved them wrong. Really, they did. I mean, the first 2 minutes of the movie itself really shocked me in that. I was initially hoping for, what's his name? Robert Pattinson initially, when it was a debate of who's going to voice the character. But as soon as I heard Keanu from that first trailer, I immediately fell in love with his take of the character. I fell in love with Shadow. What? I immediately fell in love with his take of the character, and seeing this movie, I eat my words. I eat my words. If you were to ask me right now, top 3 Shadows, I probably could have answered the third one, but in the top 2, it will probably go Jason Griffith and then Keanu, because he just killed it. I mean, he really knocked it out of the park. He really got it and understood. I know people were skeptical when the DLC came out, and I was he probably got those lines out of context. Give him time. He really is going to crush this, and he really does care. And I'm glad he got it other than Robert, because I feel like Robert wouldn't have cared as much. I feel like he wouldn't have been willing to come in and push this character to another level. He did it freaking awesome. Shadow himself as a character, I'm glad that they weren't afraid to not only highlight that hurt and pain, but also the more sillier elements. I'm glad that they weren't scared by Sonic fans to not do some little silly jokes with him in the movie. It's only a line, but something like the guac line and I guess the Latina reference. But yeah, that was really great. My only gripe is that I wish he wasn't playing the role as kind of a semi-lackey for the majority of the second half, but it's not a deal breaker. It makes sense. I feel like he doesn't see it that way, and me neither. It's just, I feel like there should have been more standout moments of Shadow alone, instead of kind of being like the watchdog for the other villain characters, but it doesn't break the movie for me. I feel like they still killed it with Shadow and everything with it. When it comes to movie Sonic, I have to say up front that I'm extremely proud of what they were able to do with him in this movie. To be clear, he's my favorite version of Sonic ever. There's like a whole story behind it, but I love movie Sonic to death. I love him more than any other version of Sonic. I love Ben Schwartz. Him liking my tweet is my greatest accomplishment ever. I love him so much. He's a sweetheart. He's so adorable. He's cool. He's charismatic. Movie Sonic's the GOAT. I hate how much the fandom likes to clown on him and make jokes about him, say how he needs to be more like Game Sonic, when personally I'm like, I love movie Sonic because he's not like Game Sonic, and how they hate his jokes, they hate anything he say, but if any other Sonic made those jokes, it would be fine. You're all hypocrites. I just really love how this movie really highlighted the fact that I always knew about movie Sonic, is that when the crap hits the fan, he's not going to take anyone's crap anymore, you know? Like, he has a sicko mode. He has a side to him that can lock in, and that you see a little bit of it in each of the movies. Because at the end of Sonic Movie 1, where you see him knock Eggman to the Mushroom Realm, you see in movie 2 where he turns super, Baby's first super form, and in this movie, there's the whole, almost the entire third act, it's just angry Sonic mode, and I really love that they highlight that specifically because it's out of Sonic's character, but I'm glad they did that to show people that he can really get serious. He could always get serious, but I feel like they needed to specifically emphasize on that right now, and they did a fantastic job with that stuff. And overall, I felt like before any of that stuff, he was being handled pretty well. I love how they write Sonic in these movies. I always laughed at his stuff. I know some people could say that it's cringy, but I don't know. I think it was good. I guess things are subjective. I like the Konnichiwa line, so, you know, screw you if you don't. But yeah, Ben just brings a new level of emotion and like levels of empathy that like Sonic can't have in the games, that you just don't see, you know? He could just bring you to tears sometimes, like when Tom gets checked by Shadow in the gut and stuff like that, and when Sonic runs to him, his delivery when he sees that's like so good and it's like so heartfelt. Ben cares more about this than any other actor. I just love him so much. I love movie Sonic, and it breaks my heart anytime he's sad and stuff. I was almost driven to tears like 3 times in this movie, and 2 of them with movie Sonic. I also liked how there are the few moments where he kind of kicks back at Tails, you know, because the whole second movie is like building their, you know, being best friends and everything. There's a few moments when Sonic kind of bites back at Tails, because like when they leave the Chow Garden place and Tails is asking if they should trust Gun or not, that's a moment. And obviously at the end where like Tails is trying to comfort him about Tom getting checked, Sonic like kind of kicks back at him, and like Knuckles has to step in, and I guess that's a segue to go into Tails and Knuckles. But I was like, there's a few moments where Sonic kind of bites back at Tails, and I don't know, I kind of like it. I guess going into Tails and Knuckles, they are really good in this movie too. I'm glad that it's complicated. So when the first trailer came out and everyone was hoping for Amy to be an active part of this movie, we'll get to her later because, you know, post-credit scene, we'll get to that craziness. We all wanted her to be part of the movie, to get the full core 4 in here, but I'm glad that because I initially kind of disappointed that she wasn't here. And it was just like, oh, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, we saw at the end of 2, we saw him in a bit of Knuckles show, why are we doing this again? But I eat my words, I want more of this, because I feel like we never really got, because I realized that we never really got a full movie where it's just the 3 of them and we see to get their full dynamic. I remember like Pat Casey said there in an interview once, yeah, before we introduce someone like Amy, let's spend at least some time to see the 3 boys and how they interact with each other. And I gotta say, I really love their dynamic. I really love how Ninja Turtle like from that franchise where they have a dynamic of banter together. I think Aru put it really well together, where it feels like Knuckles is the older brother, Tails is the younger brother, and Sonic is like the middle child. And yeah, this is the most I've ever seen. I've ever been convinced that the three of them have been best friends, like real besties. Because in other games and media, it's like we kind of see that more now, but I kind of feel like they were always just brought together just because, oh, Eggman's doing a thing, hop on the plane, Knuckles, Sonic heroes, we'll do this thing and that's it. But it's like you actually see them hanging out together, and like they have a real rapport, and they do love each other and stuff. So these are my favorite versions of the characters already, but I severely eat my words when I wanted them to just skip over this stuff. I feel like this was severely needed. This story does not work with Amy Rose actively being in it, even though I wish she was. But I'm very glad that we got a story with just Sonic and like Tails and Knuckles as the hero vocal point of the story. And just their individual moments too. I feel like people were saying that Knuckles really stepped up in this movie as being their favorite, and he really did. He had some really good standout moments. He even saved Sonic and Tails in the end of the movie when they were falling down, which was really sweet. He stands up for Tails when Sonic's flying off the handle. I really loved that scene. Yeah, Knuckles really stand up in this movie. He was a standout character. He has some really great moments in here. Tails not as much, but it's not like a thing where he got sidelined in the second movie. He's an active part of this film and part of the team. He's still adorable, I guess. He does a lot of cool stuff with the gadgets. I feel like that's something that's really highlighted here is Tails' gadgets in this movie, in this franchise, which they do a lot of creative stuff with. Yeah, I like his conversation with Stone and everything, and how he described like their dynamic with like Sonic and Knuckles together. He's kind of like, I guess, the glue that kind of keeps things together and stuff. He's the kid brother. I really love Tails. He's really cute. But now I do want to get into some of the Shadow Maria backstory stuff, because there's some things we need to talk about. First off, I absolutely love how it's handled in this version. I feel as if that every version of the story we've seen this year has their own unique take, and I personally feel like this might be my favorite one. Like, yeah, it doesn't include stuff with space. Yeah, the little girl doesn't have a terminal illness, but, I feel as if it was done tastefully and actually was expanded on ways that the games really couldn't. But first off, I just want to get out of the way, when this was being explained in Commander Walters and Oliver and Guy, like, did he really die? I can't believe that. Like, I'm not fully sure. I don't think it was entirely clear if he really died at that Chow Garden or not. If he did, then oh my god. But yeah, I don't think he's dead. I don't know if he's really dead. It was just super unclear. If he really is dead, that would be freaking hilarious. I'll start laughing. But yeah, ask me that in the comments below. I might have missed some parts of the movie, because there are certain parts where my attention was being pulled by someone in the audience, and there was this one idiot that came right in front of the screen, like in front of me, and said, "Hey, here's the popcorn, Cindy." And I'm like, I'm not Cindy, dude, out of the way. It was right during the backstory stuff. And I'm just like, I'm trying to watch the movie. I'm not Cindy. Like, you're not? They're like, no, get out of my face. You're probably the reason why I'm sick. But yeah, so apparently, another thing I didn't get is that they're called Gun. It's Gun, but I thought Gun was like founded after Sonic Movie 1. It looked like their name was always that back in the day, like 50 years ago. I don't mind, but it was just a continuity error. Something that I found was super interesting is that in this version, Shadow comes from a comet that fell to Earth, I guess to make the alien thing work more and not make him be made by Gerald. And I saw some people say, well, why was Shadow trapped in this comet? How did he get in here? No, I personally feel like Shadow, that's like his egg. Like, Shadow was born from the comet. That's like his egg that was dropped from somewhere. He's like an egg. He's like a bird, a shadow bird. I find that funny because Jeff was all about how we're not doing the black arms, that's kind of ridiculous. We want to tell a streamlined version of the story. And I was like, okay, so you just don't like fun. But seeing that be essentially a Clue to Shell's origin story, I feel like that's like it being a comment and Black Doom being all about that stuff, I feel like that's kind of a lead way to do some stuff with that. I don't know. I think just leaving it open. I don't think we'll see Black Doom one day. We will see him. Also, Nick Game Apologist pointed this out really well, but Maria's reaction to Shadow is like the most perfect balance of realistic yet like her character and being hopeful. Her kind of being scared at first, but then like making a little mocking face at Shadow. It shows like she's not being mean. And she understands this thing as like a freaking alien hedgehog. But I really like their dynamic in this movie. It's really realistic too. Because the thing I was hearing from like Pup was like how Maria's not really like the games. She's kind of more mischievous, stuff like that. I'm just like, what? Really? I don't know if fans are going to like that. But it really does work. Because the thing they did with Maria is just like make her an actual kid. And I was like, yeah, I never thought about it like that before. Now, she's not really like young as she is in the game. She honestly looks more like a teenager, but like not like a super old one, like 14, 15, you know, 13. I think it works, but yeah, there was just some things I never noticed before. Like she's a real kid. She's gonna break into places and break the rules a bit, you know. She's gonna be mischievous. She's gonna have hobbies. She plays the guitar, which opens the movie, but we'll get to that in a second. She's a 70s girly, you know, she's dancing to music and stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot. It was the 70s. She would be a 70s girly, you know. They're watching a Godzilla film, which I will get to in a second because I missed something crucial on that. She doesn't have any illness, something like that. I feel like that was important, so I don't know why, but I feel like they took it out because they didn't just want to pile it on an already tragic situation, like good grief. And yeah, I just love how they didn't, even though other versions did it well, they realized that let's be realistic here. This is a kid. Don't give me that holier than thou crap because she's gonna be mischievous. But you know, that just made the whole situation so much more heartbreaking because you just really saw that these two are really besties, and like it's sad what happened in the end. You know, I love the talk they had on top of the mountain with the stars, and I see that some people thought it was corny, but I feel that was needed because most of the montage was done without words, which shows how much more powerful that was. You know, they showed her on roller skates. I saw someone in Fidel's spoiler review say they explained how the shoes were, and maybe there was like a cut scene where it was just like they show why Shadow roller air skates or something like that. I don't know. There was never really a correlation. Maybe that was just a set to where they were like racing around the halls, and she just didn't have anyone to race with, or I don't know. But that was an interesting detail I would like to ask someone about or something. But talking about the thing that we were all anticipating to know what was going to happen, how they're going to handle it. Did they shoot that kid? Like I said before, they didn't. But I love how they kind of jerk teased the audience by that one guy who was holding the gun. And what surprised me is that even though he was the one who encapsulated Shadow in the first place, before that, he tried to stop the guy, which was Commander Walters, Olive Garden, where young Olive Garden man was like getting it in the way. He was just like, I remember what he was saying. He was just like, stop, those are children. What are you doing, you idiot? And then the guy was like, well, we have our orders. Sorry. He's just like gun ho. So yeah, but they obviously couldn't show a real gun. They obviously couldn't show a real kid getting shot. There's too many dead kids right now. Stop killing kids. And yeah, so I kind of expected it. I had hope, and I didn't blame Jeff and them for not doing it. He shoots a goo gun at a goo container that shoots out explosion stuff, and Maria still died. But I did want to highlight why that could have been done way worse, and how they truly did the best in their abilities. Because you could have played it off like Sam's awful idea, where it was just like, what if Gunn took away, what if she had the illness still, and when Gunn took away her from Gerald, she couldn't get the proper treatment, and then she indirectly dies in like a hospital or something, or she faked out her death but she was really okay, or some crap. Like, they could have done this really, really wrong, and I'm glad that for what they were able to do, they did it right in the most tasteful way. It's the 2020s, man. We can't, I'm sorry, it was just no shot. We were never going to get Gerald dying from firing squad. I feel as if we should be fair, and in being fair, they did a good job. Hold on, give me a second, I have to blow. that got in my mouse. Nobody clipped that. Also, I'd like to point out that before that point, when they were watching that movie, it was the Bio-Lizard in there. It was a Bio-Lizard cameo. I completely forgot. I didn't even see this when this happened because it was during the guy that like got in my face about the popcorn thing on with Cindy. So to anyone who saw that, I'm good on you. I figured it out through like secondhand other people. I had no idea that was the Bio-Lizard in there. This is kind of the second time you took one of our big Sonic kaiju monsters and made him a puppet. So I think it's cute, but please don't do it for everyone. I'll feel really sad if they do this for Chaos. I'm more forgiving, guys. Pat, Casey, this was cute, but let's not do this for every single Sonic kaiju. If I swear, I love Iblis, and that kind of alluded to him still being in the world. This doesn't, so yeah, to anyone who loves Bio-Lizard, I'm sorry if you like it or not, but deal with it. I guess we could get into the Eggman and Gerald stuff. Here's the thing. I made it kind of aware, but on Twitter or not, but throughout the first two movies, I've had the controversial opinion with Jim Carrey Eggman to where I never really liked him that much, to the point where I just felt kind of annoyed how they need him as a crutch to sell these movies as like a failsafe no matter what, and how I feel like he's less of Eggman and just being Jim Carrey. I feel the way how Game Sonic fans feel about movie Sonic, the way how I feel I can't describe anything. I feel like how movie Sonic fans feel when Game Sonic fans feel when they criticize movie Sonic, the way how movie fans love Eggman, how I love game Eggman, I feel as if he's too different, to the point where it's just Jim Carrey at this point. And if you love Jim Carrey, that's fine, but to me, someone who couldn't care less, I just never really dug into it. He was better in the second movie, I'll give you that, but all his stuff usually is annoying to me, and it just got on my brain for the first two movies, and it's completely okay. I love Jim, and I wouldn't have him not here, but I feel as if sometimes he just comes in, brings his own material and the stuff, and he's super arrogant too. It's just I feel a way about Jim Carrey. I hate how he's the biggest name in the cast, and I hate how even the first movie, his name was on the poster and not Ben Schwartz. I feel as if these characters never get a chance to fully shine, and how I feel like people would come to a Saw movie if Jim Carrey wasn't there, but as a failsafe, they constantly lean upon him. So I think he's a great actor, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad he's here, but the other two movies, I just never jived with his stuff. I always felt like I'm here for the furry critters. I'm not necessarily as here just for you. I'm more excited when Jim's paired with Stone, because Lee is a darling. I love Lee March-Dube, or another furry guy like Shadow or Knuckles, So going into this one and learning that there's going to be two of him, where he's going to be playing Gerald and Eggman, I had conflicting feelings about it, because I knew that they took a lot for him to be convinced to come back to this. I know Jim Carrey deep down in his heart loves the cast, and he's going to put on a freaking face about it, but he wants to come back. He also apparently ran out of money. If that's what you get for digging freaking NFT cropping farms, Jim Carrey, I'm glad you're broke. I'm glad. But yeah, Jeff is never going to recast this man, because the Saw movie team is a family, so you can't really replace family now, can you? And yeah, so I knew that they had to pull something to bring him back, so that makes sense. But the thing that I never really thought was going to be so different is Gerald himself, but hindsight 2020, now it's kind of expected, because Gerald himself is very different than the games. I know that if it's Jim Carrey, then there was no way it was going to be the same. It's not so much as the sympathetic man turned crazy. It's more of, I guess, someone who was normal turned even more crazy. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I'm fine with Gerald. The only thing that I felt was if a little pushing it too much was the sexist joke about the Rockworld character that we'll get to later. I'm no joke, and when he said that, my whole theater ground. I'm like, for saying that joke, they better have some female characters in here really fast before certain people in here are just going to start making certain videos. So my thoughts this time around is basically that I feel as if this is the best Jim Carrey Eggman stuff, as well as the worst Jim Carrey Eggman stuff. Like, I'll give it to him this. It's really impressive that he's able to do both roles, and it seems super convincing, because I generally forget that, oh wait, it's the same guy, until they literally called it out in the movie. Like, those are the jokes you should be mad at, guys. It's not Sonic. But I really am impressed, and he did put a lot of work into it, and it's impressive how much he can have chemistry with himself. And I feel as if that's something I will commend him on. I'll commend him on actually growing out the hair and having it being cut on camera. That's a large amount of effort for these movies, and yeah, big kudos. Big kudos to you, Jim Carrey. I almost threw up talking about Jim Carrey. Here's the thing, everything with him before he meets Gerald, I was actually pretty jiving with, you know what I'm saying? I like how mean he was being about it, how he just didn't care, you know, about anyone else's views on how he was anymore, because like, a lot of his views were concerned about Sonic and trying to beat him and being seen as a winner. He's just given up at this point, and he's fine with it, so I'm like, I like his stuff before that point. I like how when they had to work together with the furry characters, how he was actually have dialogue with Sonic, something that we don't get a lot in these movies. So I'm glad to see stuff like that, and their stuff was super interesting. It's only the stuff with Gerald where I feel like, okay, now this is starting to drag a bit until it just goes off the walls. I like the more subtle moments where I enjoyed it, where you see the differences between him and Gerald, and how Gerald has a more like psychotic plan in mind, which was like, you know, to blow up the world, or to use the Eclipse can to blow up the world and themselves. But yeah, I love the stuff when they're together. I like how they contrast their differences. But when they're both doing all this stupid freaking like bonding crap and everything with it, I just did not like the freaking stuff with them together, because it was Jim Carrey overload, man. It's like I'm getting a headache, dude. I feel like there's always one scene in these movies where it's like, okay, this kind of slows down the pace. But I feel like the only scene that was like that was the dance scene. I'm sorry. I thought it was really well choreographed. I bet the writers and everyone else thought it was super funny on the crew. And it was funny at the beginning, but it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, where's Sonic? You know, like, this is getting a little too much. I can't. Please stop. But yeah, that could have been dialed back a bit, but I did think that the best stuff came near the end of the movie, but I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to highlight the other human characters, but overall, Jim's performance it's basically like this. I really love all the stuff with Eggman by himself. I like the parts of the movie where it differs between him and Gerald, and I like a lot of the last act, a lot of it, but all the silly stuff, that's just too much for me. I could get down with it to a certain point, but there's just some bits where it's just like, run this along. Just them meeting up with each other and doing that whole quiz of, are you really me, or are you really my grandfather? Let's do a bunch of hammy stuff. But what I come to realize in this movie, which is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, is that Jim Carrey is here for the kids, and the Sonic characters are here for the adults. That's how I generally feel. And some people will say I'm wrong, but am I really? I mean, come on. But, you know, to each their own. Right after that, I want to go into the humans themselves. That just includes all the other secondary characters, I guess, and how much I feel like they contributed or not. Tom and Maddie are here again. You know, they're in significantly less than any of all the other movies. They have their roles to play. They're basically the parents. And yeah, I think that's really cool. I know people have problems with these characters having familiar, you know, relationships or having parents in general and stuff, but I feel as if it's needed, because at the end of the day, there are kids, and I'm glad that these movies highlight that. Oh yeah, most of the Sonic cast are freaking teenagers, but I really enjoyed their stuff. I like Puppet Tom. That was funny. I want Puppet Tom to be a recurring character in the movies. Yeah, I have some gripes with their stuff though. Personally, when Tom gets checked by Shadow and it's assumed to be dead, or they find for his life, I can't believe Shadow actually did that. But I just felt like all the other characters seemed like, oh my god, Tom, no, but like Tika Sumpter seemed a little wooden. I'm sorry, I love you, Tika Sumpter, but her face just didn't look as invested. Like, I remember when she was like, did I just burp on that? Oh my god. I remember when she was getting into the hospital truck with Tom on the stretcher, and like all her faces after that point just looked blank. It didn't look like that emotional at all. She looked more emotional in the other movies, you know. She just looked at Sonic and Friends, and she was just like, "Well, I'm gone. That's all I want to do in this movie." And then went to the hospital truck, and there's like another shot where she's in the hospital with Tom, looking at the final battle, and her face is still blank. It's like, are you caring about this or something? I don't know what happened to her. Maybe she was just done. But yeah, I feel like she could have done some more takes on that. But yeah, they're pretty okay. They did well. James Marsden doing well. I know he got into some controversial stuff this year. I don't give a frick. He did a good job as Tom. W Dad. I'm surprised they didn't have the gall to actually bring back the characters Rachel and Randall. They show up, but it's like Tom and Maddie pretending to be them, and it's like they're actual actors and everything. And it's only for like 2 minutes, but it's just like, I feel like they understand that the fans have had it with them, so they have to include them somehow, because again, movie Sonic team is a family, so they have to put them in somehow. But a lot of humans got sidetracked in this movie, you know, so now it's funny to see. I know some people was like annoyed or getting PTSD of the wedding scene. It wasn't that bad. It was a small 1 minute thing, maybe 2 minutes. I'm not too upset about it. I'm not upset about it at all, actually. It was just a nice little thing. Who else? Wade showed up for 2 seconds. It was funny because I thought he was not going to be in this movie at all because of the Knuckles show and how badly that went. And I think they were aware that, oh shoot, we're not doing this guy again. But he shows up for 2 seconds. He has the Master Emerald. I guess we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I don't even want to hear Nick's thoughts on that one. I don't want to hear him cry about that. I don't want to hear anyone cry about that. It's a stupid joke to pay off for a stupid show. Get over it. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they would trust him with the Master Emerald either. But you know what? Who cares? Because the third act of this movie is so freaking crazy. I'm just glad he got the Emerald no matter what means necessary, so we could just jump to that. So that was fine. I guess there's Commander Walters. I guess he died at some point. I'm not too sure if that actually happened or not, but he was pretty okay. I want to hear more lore about this whole backstory thing and how involved he was with Shadow. And also, if you think about it, it's kind of weird because he ended up trapping Shadow for something that those men did. But yeah, but for when movie Sonic in them, he's straight up letting them live on Earth and do this stuff. So it's kind of a bias there, you know. But yeah, I really just freaking love. What am I talking about? He was okay. There was those 2 guys at the start of the movie that was like watching Shadow's thing to make it like a donut joke, so that's whatever. Oh, I forgot to mention, they didn't do the Sega orchestral music in this one because I guess they're not playing around. I guess they're being serious, but yeah, that's something to mention though. But what I really want to talk about was Agent Rockwell. I know everyone thought she was going to play Rouge or some crap, or even there was like a joke. Because like, here's the thing, I'm not even mad that it's not Rouge. I'm not even mad that she was like Rouge in disguise, because people were like, you had a out where you could just make her Rouge in disguise. I didn't even want them to do that because I think that would have been stupid. I just generally wanted a payoff to her character, and I really wanted to hear him out. I definitely think there was some stuff cut in between the lines here, but yeah, she just had no real payoff. You really think when she got the 2 keys that she had some master plan or something, but it really was like amounted to nothing. And I just questioned what was the point of her character at the start of this. Like, what was the whole thing? Like, you guys don't need to add characters just to add characters. I guess she's just here to take over for Commander Walters in the event that he really is dead. But yeah, I wish there was more of a payoff to her. There's just not much to say about her. I don't know. I guess Tom thinks she's hot. And that's the other thing. I don't want to make things political, but when they were like pretending to be Rachel and Randall, Tom pretended to be Randall. Is that blackface? Huh? Come on. I don't want to start stuff in the Sonic movie community, but I mean, I think that's all the human stuff we really want to talk about. Let's get into that third act because, oh my god. Because here's the thing about the pacing of the movie. Personally, because people were saying, it feels too fast or it feels too slow. Here's how I see it. It's like the freaking 3 Little Pigs or like the 3 Goldilocks, whatever story that was, where it's like the first act felt super fast. I feel like the first minute was done well. Like the first 2 minutes with Shadow breaking out, that's fine. Everything after that, it's like boom, boom, boom. Like, okay, what's going on? Because they jumped straight to the clip where they're about to race, and so like, wait, what? I thought there was going to be a scene before this. Then they jumped to the Earth Day party, the Earth Day stuff. Then they jump to more stuff in Tokyo. Then it's like, Sonic, you need to go to stop Shadow right now. Let's go. It's like, we're doing this now. Like, no kickback. And then they go to there. They fight Shadow. Then they get their butts whooped. Then they have to go to the Chow Garden. I'm just like, how is this happening? This is like in 2-minute intervals. Oh my god, slow down, you know? Yeah, then like it only slows down right after when like they go to see Eggman, and like that's when they slow down a bit. But then the second half feels a bit too slow, because it has their moments where it's like, I'm glad that they should be slow with the Shadow stuff or even Team Sonic stuff. But I feel like some stuff that dragged or bits or something like that, the long bits started to drag. It was only the third act where everything felt perfect and for a reason. You know, when we get into the Sonic Revenge stuff, when he's on his Arkham Asylum crap, he's ready to wreck crap, you know what I'm saying? And I cannot believe we got a fight with Super Shadow and Super Sonic. I never even thought that was a possibility until this movie, like around the time we were about to come up to it. I'm just like, what if they did that? But no, they're not going to do that. But they did, and I screamed so loud. I was so impressed by both Ben and Keanu's acting. They were both killing it, from Sonic just straight up one-shotting Shadow through the freaking window to them going down on Earth. And like, and I heard, because Mark came out in the movie, and he was just like, they changed a shot from the trailer specifically that's changed in the movie, and they changed it with Shadow, and it's just like, this ends now. And it was Super Shadow, and it was clever too, because Shadow's super form, his quills basically don't stand up even more. He's like the same, so you could like alter that crap, and I can't believe they did that. That's like some Marvel level stuff. Maybe there was a hidden character, I don't know. I guess they were really on their crap. That takes work to do that. That's just not a simple edit. That takes work, so I can't believe that was a thing. So congratulations, Paramount. You didn't spoil the whole freaking movie, but you did spoil literally shots from the end. You spoiled the ending shot, and then you spoiled part of the post-credit scene, which I was surprised they did. Something even more crazy is when Sonic was literally about to fight Knuckles, and how we really got to see this darker side of Sonic, which I'm really glad they got to explore. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I think it's stuff that they can't do in the games, and to see how Sonic could be as Shadow, or like do similar things to like him, and fighting and stuff, that crap was insane. So I said lines that I would never think he would say. He said a line like, "Show yourself, coward," and all this stuff. He was kicking back at Tails. He was about to fight Knuckles, and Knuckles' line was also really sweet, where it's just like, you know, we may have vowed like to trust each other, and I'm gonna stick by it even though you'll choose to break it and stuff. Like, Knuckles really stepped up to be a big brother, and I really love Knuckles. I feel like Sonic's apology, I'm glad he apologizes to the both of them, and how in the end, you know, Knuckles and Tails saved Sonic in a kind of role reversal. But yeah, I love that moment. I love all the stuff with Super Sonic. I love how we got to see him more in his super form, because we only got saw for a really quick moment too. All that stuff was freaking amazing, and yeah, my theater was going crazy. I was even like losing my voice before I even got sick for Christmas, because the thing is, like, I try to keep myself really reserved and like not try to freak out. I even told myself, don't scream in this theater, don't scream in this theater, don't scream in this theater. But yeah, I just couldn't help myself. It was really infectious. The whole theater was going crazy. I just couldn't help myself. It was a lot of cool moments. Like when he punched him to the moon. That crap was insane. So yeah, all the Super Sonic and Super Shadow stuff, whether it's them fighting each other or working together, was some of the craziest stuff in the movie. That stuff is like a Sonic fan's dream. I can't believe we have a high budget Hollywood version of SA2, and that is being treated with care and love, and that, like I'm saying before, to trust the movie team. They know what they're doing, and that everyone's going to be able to see something like this. You know, I've always wanted something like this. And I guess getting into the ending, I just gotta say that I'm surprised that they really gave the full Shadow SA2 experience with him kind of dying in the end. But, you know, spoiling the second post-credit scene, Shadow's not actually dead, but I admire how they really tried to hide that fact, and it does lessen the blow a bit more, but it really is like giving kids what people experienced all the way back then with SA2. I'm I never expected them to handle it that way. So huge props to them for that. And also Eggman dying, that's a lot to think about and speculate about, because we all know Jim Carrey's such a hard catch for these movies, and he comes in and out. I feel like after interviews with this one, he really can't stay away from these films. I don't imagine Jeff's trying to replace him or anything, but I don't know, because it's not like 2 where it's just implied he died either way. They really built up this send up to him, and all that stuff, I have to admit, was well done. I did not get too emotional over it, but I felt like if they're trying to set up him actually dying, I don't believe it. But if it was like supposed to be a real send up to the character, yeah, I think that was done really well. I just don't know if this really is the last time we'll see him. I can't imagine it won't be for too long. I can't imagine he'll be in the next one, but I imagine at some point, maybe a Sonic 6 or 7, Jim will turn his head around or something. I don't know, but I don't think they could just pull another He's Alive Again like 2 this time, where they actually went into trying to give him like a true like death scene. You know, he's making references to the first 2 movies and everything. I'm like, well, are they being for real this time? I'm not too sure either way, but you know, I would hope that they at least take a break from Jim, because I would really want to have a movie at least coming up with 4 to really prove that these Sonic characters can carry because I feel like the movies are in the pop culture sphere enough to where I feel like we can have at least a few movies that show the Sonic characters can sell a Sonic movie and not Jim Carrey, you know? That's just how I feel about it. But yeah, overall, the ending was pretty good. It was pretty satisfying. I really liked the bit with Team Sonic at the end. Sonic wants to call them, when Sonic says, "What's this car?" Sells team. That was a really sweet moment. It built off great off of what happened earlier in the movie, but I don't buy that for a second. Your Team Sonic, I'm not calling them team for a second. Your name is Team Sonic. That was really nice, but it's like, yeah, you're Team Sonic. I don't buy that for a second. That's not marketable. I like the name Team Sonic better. And Tom not dying, I obviously expected that. You know, they're not going to kill Tom the cop. They don't have the balls to do that, but yeah, that was nice. It was a nice little ending with the little race. And I guess again, to the credits themselves, I like how they did it differently, where it's like the Sega Saturn sprites. I thought it was a cool compromise between doing the more SA2 Dreamcast polygon models and the classic games. We get a classic Shadow that is classic Shadow. I know Gabi, Frank, and me keep beefing about it online. I hate to keep freaking with you, Frank, but it's true. I don't care if it's a little red in his eyes. That's not the defining characteristic of a classic character. I win, you lose. Stop it. You know? Pup says for you to be a better friend, and I agree with him. I win, you lose. So shut up. It's not, because we were on Twitter, and I'm not getting into it, but yeah, gotta be frank. If you're watching this bot right now, it's classic Shadow. I win. So stop being a sore loser, okay? Maybe next freaking movie. I also don't hate the Jelly Roll song. Run it, roll it up, whatever it is. I don't hate it. I don't necessarily like it all that much. It's my least favorite out of the songs from the movies. Like, that's the credit themes. But yeah, it's fine. I hate how I was hopped on Twitter about it to people, and I was being jumped on it and harassed. I was like, I literally said I liked the song. I might even pull up the tweets on the screen, or not. I don't know. I'm rambling. All right, post-credit scene time. This is what we've all been waiting for. If you truly don't want to be spoiled at all, then why have you got up to this point? So I feel like you'll be fine, or at least you don't care at this point. But I'm about to say some crazy crap. We're going to get the post-credit scenes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here's how I feel about it. Start things off. It's Metal Sonic, all right? I was fully expecting silver at this point. I'm not upset that's not silver. I get it, but this is just my feelings towards it, right? So we see Sonic and I can't show footage of any of this stuff, but we see Sonic. He somehow got to New York. I forgot how. I think he said something about like overshotting the finish line. How the frick do you? Okay, that's fine. And then immediately we see Metal Sonic, and I'm like, wait, the frick, what? Because like I was expecting silver, and I think it was a good reveal. It's like a Terminator style like intro for Metal Sonic. I never been the biggest fan of Metal. I know he has his fans. I know there's big Sonic robot fans. I'm sure Nick Game Apologist and everyone or Chris 3C Films were screaming their heads off in the theaters. And I thought, well, okay, fine. But first I was like kind of confused because it straight up looks like Metal Sonic from the games. Like, honestly, I don't know if this is his final design or not, but it's straight up Metal Sonic. Like, they barely changed anything. I feel like there's some detail on him, but I don't think that's bad. I was just confused. I was like, is this a fever dream? Because this looks like something like a fan would put together. Like, just the straight up model. Like, they wouldn't change anything. It doesn't look bad, but just like, I was surprised it didn't change anything. And even Sonic's dialogue with him was weird because he reacts. I like how he reacted to him, though. He's not like, oh my god, a metal me? He just kind of like, oh, it's this Metal Sonic. I'll frick around with it. You want to go? Like, yeah. And he even says himself, nice cosplay, but it's like you got a few details wrong because his eyes are connected too, right? So it's like, how is this Metal Sonic? It's like, it's clear the Metal Sonic based off of the game Sonic, but movie Sonic's talking to this game Metal Sonic. And that's already like weird enough. And then a bunch of them starts coming through the woods. And I'm like, this is like 10 of these things. And I'm like, okay, what is happening? And I'm like interested in going on, but I'm kind of sad because I wanted silver. And I was like, I'm not the biggest Metal Sonic person, but I'm like, you know, I'm down for anything. I trust the movie team. Okay. And it could have stopped in one area where all the Metal Sonics start to like attack Sonic, right? Because I know some things about this post-credit scene from like research online, and Ben said there's like multiple times where they cut this thing, but then made it longer. And I feel like the first time they could have cut is when Metal Sonic jumps in the woods and was like about to shoot Sonic. Then they could have cut it where there was a bunch of Metal Sonics and then they attacked him. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Movie 4 Metal Sonic, we'll do it. But then a pink hammer shows up and then I start to lose my crap because lo and behold is Amy, and she looks like she's a Ruby character for a second. So she has a shot on the moon. Like, she has a shot of her like in front of the broken moon, which is still broken, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And yeah, she shows up, and then this is like what feels like I made up for it. Because if it was just Metal Sonic, I would have been slightly mad, or at least slightly disappointed. Amy well made up for it for me, and she looks really good. I like her design. She doesn't say anything, but I'll get to that in a second, because she almost did. But yeah, she reveals the hood. She's not... How do I describe Amy? Okay, so I didn't get a good look because we don't have the movie in HD, and I could barely see in that theater. But if I can describe Amy, her design looks really good. I'm really glad she's here. At least Amy's here, and that, you know, we finally have girls in the universe. Girls exist. Ooh. And yeah, it's really hard to explain her design. It looks game accurate, but different at the same time. It looks like how you think Amy will look in the movie, but not like just a movie Sonic clone. I'm glad that they didn't make her eyes as round as movie Sonic, so they can be that difference, because a lot of people make it too round. She looks like her own character. Her bangs are really different though. It's like, I can't describe it, but they look like they're going to be hell to draw. I don't know if they're going to change her bangs at some point, but that's something that I would feel like they could do. I think ties into the design. I couldn't see a hairball. It just looks like a more feral Amy, to be honest. You know, she has this freaking tribal cloak on, so they're hiding the dress, I guess, so they won't have to pin themselves down to one design, because every time these movies come out, the design changed a slight bit, like Shadow design changed a bit. But yeah, I bet dealing with a character that wears clothes now, they kind of have to workshop it. But yeah, so I don't expect her to have that cloak on the entire next movie, but I think that's cool. I think her design itself is really adorable. I think Aru described it best, where Amy just looks like, imagine like going to a pet store and then seeing like the most adorable cat that you want to adopt, like right then and there. She doesn't say anything, but it's cool. I feel like they handle her gloves well. Her gloves are different. It's not, her rings are around her gloves, but like you see, it's more around the cuff of her hand and not just like cufflinks himself. Am I making any sense here? I can't show the design on screen, but yeah, it looks really cool. I didn't see her shoes. I didn't know how the shoes look. She's wearing shoes, but I don't know how her big boots are and how they changed it, because again, we need an HD look of the thing. Her hammer looks like robotic, you know? It looks like it has more robot features. It looks more robotic than like the game one. So that's cool. It lit up pink and everything. So yeah, Amy's here. We all wanted her. I'm extremely excited to see her. I'm extremely excited to see her reaction to Sonic and everyone else. Team Sonic is finally full. I know I really like the three boy dynamic, but Team Sonic just isn't complete without that little shade of pink. And I'm really glad that we're going to get a movie with Amy. I can't wait to see a post. There's going to be one-day posters of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy all in like a movie in Shadow possibly, and that's all I ever wanted ever since like the Sonic 2. But yeah, I can't wait to see that. But I also learned something that, you know, to take it with a grain of salt, but Izzy was on Ultima's little podcast spoiler cast for the movie, and Isabel, she knows people who went to the test screeners, and I could be wrong, and she could be wrong. I don't know 100%, but she said some crap about there being actually Amy saying a line, because Amy didn't say anything, you know, possibly to get casting. You know, they don't want to lock down a voice, and I don't think they're going to get Cindy Robinson, and please don't do that. But apparently Amy had a line, and I don't know if this is the line specifically, and she did it, but from what she said, initially Sonic was going to ask a question after she saves him, and he's like, you know, why did you save me? I don't need saving. And Amy was going to say, I'm saving the world from you, or something like that. So some Terminator plot, or maybe Amy's trying to fight Sonic. This was taken out of the movie, obviously. This was in test screenings. I don't even know what the voice sounded like in the test screenings, but I'm glad they took it out, because I feel like that implies that Amy's gonna be an antagonist in the next movie, and like, please don't do that. You know, like, I don't think I could take Amy seriously enough to do something like that. They tried it in Prime. It was funny, but it's like, please don't. I want Amy to be friends. I don't want that. I also don't know how their relationship's gonna go with the romance stuff. I just don't know how they're gonna do Amy, but hopefully, you know, they treat her right. Don't make her just a serious, strong-willed woman character. She can do all that, and that's fine. But, you know, also make her like Amy, make her bubbly. You know, the Sonic movies are very comedy movies. Make her funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, make her bubbly and positive and quirky as well. You can have all that stuff too, but like, make her actually like Amy, you know, like the games. So I trust the movie team to do it right and to do her justice, but that's something we need to talk about. I don't know why they cut that out and what that means for later things, but I'm excited to see her final design. I hope they change the bangs so they'll be easier to draw. And by the way, speaking of drawing, every single person who drew Amy with this hood before the movies got it 100% right. I can't believe that all that fan art what turned out to be like third near to the real design, because if you remember, there's like a bunch of fan art of Amy in this hood, and I never understood why would they do that. I just thought it was weird. I didn't understand it, but I was like, why is Amy in this hood? But yeah, everyone who did that got it 1,000% right, and I was just like, what the fudge? That's insane. So yeah, even though there's a lot to talk about, all this stuff, you know, Metal Sonic, Amy, Shadow, all this stuff, that's gonna be its own video, hopefully when I can sound more coherently and not like I'm dying. But yeah, that's all gonna be conversation for later. I just want to talk about what we have right now, and just to really talk about how appreciative I am and how proud I am of the movie team for always like proving the haters wrong, going above and beyond to show that they know these characters, they have something rich here. I know people see stuff like, you know, Dark Beginnings and say things like, why I don't want to stop. If you ask me if I want to stop before in a Shadow Dark Beginnings thing, I'll take Shadow Dark Beginnings. It's not to dunk on Dark Beginnings, but it's just like, don't count out the movies. Why does it need to be one over the other? Why do we need to stop doing Earth? Why do we need to like replace everything and all the actors? Why do we need to stop the movie franchise? You know, like literally people from the movie worked on Dark Beginnings. Let them show what they can do. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said the whole time, I was like, this is really good, but I'm like, watch them climb, dude. Watch them do it. Watch them push this universe. Watch them show what they can do that only the movies can, that the games can't. Yeah, I'm extremely proud to say that, you know, we win again. You know, we're beating Lion King. We're doing this crap. We're making these things happen. And it's all because the trust that we put into Jeff and the team, you know, because they really do care. They listen to fans. And not only that, they listen to themselves and they pick the right choices, because this movie's all about choices. And I feel like the choices that they made to make this the product it is was amazing. You know, I didn't even get into the music. There's so much Sonic music in here because they listen to you guys. You know what I'm saying? There's no way they were not going to play Live and Learn. And I'm super glad they did. They played it like 3 times. There's so much. They played the Victory music. They played all sorts of. They played the '06 Eggman theme. I was jumping on my seat for that. So much SA2 stuff. So many Easter eggs they even caught. Like Sonic saying the low budget flights line. That got a huge like clap. I was screaming for that. They really do get this crap. It is really frustrating when people like put them down like this. When they put down movie Sonic, when they put down the writers and everything else, like they don't care. Like they obviously do, and they obviously try their best 100%. And it makes me mad whenever people dunk on the movies for just saying it's not like the games. No, it's not going to be 100% like the games. It's gonna do its own thing, but it's gonna mix everything together. And if you see the reviews for this movie, not that I ever want to tell people to make everyone happy, but they made everyone happy, because we have the Saw Movie 1 fans and the Saw Movie 2 fans, and I really feel like for this one, they really brought it out of the park and did something that made everyone happy in a way that everyone can relate to, you know? But yeah, to the Sonic movie team who's watching this, if they are watching this, the very small chance they are, sorry you have to hear me like this, but specifically Jeff, you know, Josh, Pat, Ben, Tyson, Toby, all these people, you know, I see your work, I see your stuff, we all do, and I'm always championing for you guys. I am extremely proud for what you've been able to do. I am extremely happy for what you've been able to do. I'm glad that you keep proving people wrong. Don't stop proving people wrong about you guys. Don't stop proving people wrong about these movies. They are special. They are things that unite the fandom and prove to some. They save the franchise, and they continue to push things and bring Sonic back into the respect of so many people. And yeah, you guys did an amazing job. And one more thing, even though I'm glad that we got a Sonic movie around Christmas time, don't ever pull this crap again, because I got sick from this trash. And it's really cool that it is in December, but yeah, just don't ever do something like this again, please. I mean, it was cool, but like next, if possible, release movies in like the summer next time or some crap, because my god, I hate my life. But I love this movie. I don't hate this movie at all. I love this movie, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to do this, and I'm so proud of everyone involved. And yeah, I believe in these movies, and I believe in you guys, and you guys did an amazing job. So please, give yourself a pat on the back for that. Give Pat Casey a pat on the back. But yeah, that's it for this darn near hour-long video. I want to make a proper Saw Movie 3 video soon. I want to make a proper video on all of this stuff with the movies, talk about what's coming up, what we have. And yeah, that stuff all probably going to come out whenever it comes out on DVD. I really want to see it again, but I'm sick, so I can't. But what I do, I can't wait to do it again. I guess I'll throw up some fan art on the screen if you can see it. Thank you so much for sending that in. That makes me very happy in this really stupid time I'm in. But yeah, this will be my last video of the year. I'll probably have something else coming out. This will probably be my last video before Christmas. So yeah, hopefully this crap will be blown over and I'll be normal for Christmas. But I hope you have a nice Christmas. You really got to the end of this video. Thank you so much for caring about me. I'm really glad that they really brought this story to the big screen about Shadow and really brought that. I'm losing my thoughts. I'm just really glad that this story was told right. And yeah, I did get into all my thoughts, but it was just really loose. I'll get into more of that in my proper Saw Movie 3 video soon. But yeah, so I guess this was a fun little time talking about the movie. Lots more to talk about. Expect more videos. Expect videos about me being sick, for one. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Merry Chrysler.